this Mental Health Day, I would like to offer a message on self compassion, and I'm going to share 3 questions for you to reflect upon. So, here's the first question: how do you meet yourself? How do you greet yourself? We spend our whole life with ourselves, and sometimes I wonder, do we offer the same kind of friendliness to ourselves like we offer to the ones that we love? When we meet a friend, when we meet a loved one, a family member, or a colleague, we smile at them. And sometimes we give them a really big smile, and sometimes we give them a hug. And we just show that we're so happy to see them, we're so happy to meet them, and we're so happy to greet them. But do we greet ourselves like that? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Often, most people, when they look in the mirror, they just see everything that is wrong about them. And sometimes I even tell my clients, just smile at yourself a little bit when you look at yourself in the mirror, and they say, that's like the most absurd thing, and that's so difficult. What's wrong in just meeting ourselves with the same kind of friendliness like we do to people that are in our lives? And that's one of the first steps to self compassion. Just meet yourself with a little bit of friendliness. Just greet yourself lovingly. Second reflection: do you offer the same kind of kindness to yourself like you offer to other people? So, for example, if you are in a crowded space like a bus or a train, and then you see an elderly person, or you see a lady who's pregnant, or somebody who's looking tired or unwell, would you get up and offer your seat? Most of us would. If you saw an animal that was injured, and if you had some kind of capacity to help them, would you go and help them? If you had a friend who was in distress, or somebody you really cared about who was in distress, and they wanted your help, would you be there with them? Would you soothe them? Would you encourage them? Would you give them a lot of care in their time of crisis? And the question is, do you offer the same kind of love and kindness to yourself? And most of us don't do that. When we are going through any kind of difficulty, when we are going through any kind of stress or distress, the self-soothing is very less, the self-care becomes very less, and instead we have like a very harsh voice in our heads that tells us we're not doing enough, that tells us that we're not good enough, that tells us that we're inadequate. And that voice keeps like pushing us, instead of just, at that time, instead of pushing, what might really help is just gently holding ourselves, taking care of ourselves with the same kind of love and tenderness like we would do for a very good friend of ours. Now, the third question and the last question is your heart open to yourself? And I really love what the Buddha says. He says, hold yourself just like a mother would hold her beloved child. And that's really beautiful. Do we do that for ourselves? Are we holding ourselves with this kind of gentleness and lovingness and kindness? And this is the right space, and the great space, more than right space, it's just a wonderful space to really heal from. And this is especially for those of us who are really suffering from any kind of mental health concern. Heal from a place of self-compassion, and that's a very powerful place to heal from. Because if you're healing from a space of inadequacy and the not good enough, and that's just like beating ourselves down unnecessarily, it's not going to help in any way. You are okay. You are really okay. And heal from that space of it's okay, I'm okay, and offer that self-compassion to yourself, and just see what happens. So it's a very beautiful way to heal, and it's a very powerful way to heal. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the love and care and tenderness as you proceed through your life with all your highs and all your lows. Lots of love.